How did one funny toast about his small paycheck turn into divorce papers served in a hotel lobby? Why did my husband stay calm, gather proof, and let the law speak for him in front of my whole rich family? I thought I could control the story, until the result landed in my hands. My name is Lavinia Whateley. I was 34, and I worked in HR at a tech company where everyone loved big titles and big words. I knew how to smile, how to speak soft, and how to make people agree without noticing. I always said I was a peace person. I also knew I could be sharp when I wanted. My husband, Ethan Brooks, did IT support at a community college. He fixed printers and helped people reset passwords. He came home tired, with the smell of old coffee on his jacket, and he still tried to make me laugh. He was steady. He was also, in my family's eyes, small. Not in his body, in his money. That weekend, we drove to my parents' lake house for brunch. The place was big and clean like a magazine. The driveway was long. The glass doors were tall. My mother, Margot Whateley, treated the house like a stage. My father, Warren Whateley, treated it like a border check. My sister, Serena Vaughan, treated it like a camera set. On the way there, Ethan asked if he should bring anything. I said my family had everything. He asked if Noah needed his sweater. I said Noah would be fine. I watched Ethan's hands on the steering wheel. They were calm. I felt annoyed by that calm, like it was a quiet joke at my expense. At the lake house, the air smelled like fresh bread and lemon cleaner. My mother hugged Noah first. She asked him about school and called him her little prince. Then she hugged me, and she checked my hair with her eyes like she was checking a product label. After that, she nodded at Ethan like he was a delivery man. Ethan offered his hand to my father. My father took it, but not fully. He asked Ethan how work was. Ethan said it was busy. My father asked if Ethan had gotten a real promotion yet. Ethan said his job was stable, and he liked helping people. I saw my father's mouth tighten. I felt a strange relief, like I had proven something without speaking. We moved to the patio. The table was long. The plates were heavy. The food was perfect. Serena arrived with her husband, Caleb, and she had her phone ready before she sat down. Serena asked if we had seen the new rooftop place downtown. I said it was too loud for me. I watched Ethan nod like he agreed, but he did not speak. He never pushed himself into my family's talk. I used to call that respect. Lately, I was calling it weak. My mother started asking about money in the way she always did. She did not say money. She said plans. She asked if we were looking at a better school for Noah. I said we were thinking. She asked if we were saving enough. I said we were fine. She asked Ethan if he had started investing properly. Ethan said he contributed to our savings and paid bills on time. My mother smiled, and then she asked Ethan what his salary range was now. Ethan blinked once. He did not get angry. He said he did not like to talk numbers at the table. My mother acted surprised and asked why. Ethan said it felt private. I felt heat in my chest. I told myself Ethan was making it awkward. I told myself my mother was only asking because she cared. I told myself a strong man would answer and move on. I looked at Serena and saw her little grin, like she was waiting for a scene. So I made one. I said Ethan was humble because he did not have much to brag about. I said it in a playful voice. I said it like a joke that would land soft. I added that he was lucky to have a wife with ambition. I laughed first, so others would follow. Serena laughed right away. My mother laughed too, but she did it with a small, polite sound, like she was approving a child. My father made a short chuckle and looked at his plate. Caleb's face stayed still. Noah looked at Ethan's hands and then at me. Ethan's jaw moved once like he swallowed words. He asked if I was serious. I said I was only teasing. He asked why I would tease him about that. I said couples joked. He asked if I would joke like that in front of his mother. I said his mother did not understand our world. Even as I said it, I knew it was cruel. I also felt powerful. I had the table, I had the laughs, I had the control. My father picked up his glass and started talking about standards. He said people needed to be hungry. He said comfort made men lazy. My mother nodded and asked Ethan if he wanted her to connect him with someone who could advise him. Ethan said he appreciated it, but he was okay. He said he measured his worth by how he treated his family. I wanted to roll my eyes. I wanted to tell him that love did not pay for private schools. I wanted to tell him respect followed results, and he did not have results. I did not say that out loud, because my mother would not like the word results from my mouth. That was her word. Serena leaned close to me and asked if I ever wondered what it would be like to be with a man who could match us. She said it like she was talking about shoes. She asked if I was bored. I said I was not bored. I said Ethan was a good man. Serena asked if good was enough. I did not answer her. I took a bite of fruit and pretended I did not hear. In my head, I answered anyway. I told myself good was not enough if I kept carrying the image alone. After brunch, my mother pulled me inside. She asked if Ethan always got so sensitive. I said he had been stressed. She asked if he ever raised his voice. I said no, but he made me feel guilty. She said guilt was a tool men used when they could not provide. I let her words sit in me like warm tea. When we left, Noah ran back to hug my mother again. Ethan carried the bag to the car. My father told Ethan to drive safe. It sounded like a warning, not kindness. In the car, Ethan asked why I did that. I said he embarrassed me by refusing a simple question. He asked why money mattered more than respect. I said respect and money were not separate. He asked if I even liked him. I said he was being dramatic. At home, Ethan took Noah upstairs for a bath. I stayed in the kitchen and scrolled my phone. Serena had already sent a video clip to our family chat. It was short. It showed my laugh and Ethan's quiet face. The angle made him look smaller than he was. Serena wrote that it was iconic. My mother reacted with a heart. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself Ethan needed to toughen up. I told myself I was helping him by pushing him. Later, when Ethan came back downstairs, he did not argue. He washed a cup and dried it. He asked if I wanted tea. I said no. He nodded and walked to the hallway. His phone lit up on the counter for 1 second. I saw a calendar reminder. It did not have a name like work meetings did. It only said downtown 10:40 a.m. Ethan picked up the phone fast and turned the screen down. He did not look at me. He did not explain. I watched him disappear into the guest room. And I told myself he was doing it to punish me. Then I told myself I did not care. But my stomach felt tight anyway, like a door had closed somewhere in the house. Monday felt normal on the outside. I woke up before Ethan, made coffee, and checked my email. Ethan came into the kitchen and asked if I was still upset. I said I was fine. He asked if we could talk about the brunch. I said there was nothing to talk about because it was over. He looked at me for a long second like he wanted to argue, but he did not. He asked what time I would be home. I said my day might run late. That was my first lie of the week. I told myself it was not really a lie, because work could run late. HR always had something. People always had problems. I said to myself that I carried heavy things. I said Ethan did not understand pressure. In my head, pressure was a good reason for anything. At the office, the lights were bright and the air was cold. I sat at my desk in the open plan room and started my day like a machine. I answered a manager who asked about a warning letter. I helped a new hire who asked about benefits. I smiled at people who did not know me. That part was easy. Then I saw Grant Hale in the hallway near the conference rooms. He was from a vendor company that sold training programs. He wore expensive shoes and never had a wrinkle. He smiled like he already knew the ending of every story. He asked how I was doing. I said I was busy. He said I looked like someone who needed a break. I told myself it was just a friendly line. I also felt my mood lift in a way I did not want to admit. Grant asked if I had time for a coffee later. I said I had meetings. He said he could match my schedule and meet near my building. He said he had a new idea that could help my department look good. I like that. I like the words, look good. I said we could talk after work for a few minutes. Around noon, Ethan texted me a photo of a school form for Noah. He asked if I had signed it. I said I would sign it tonight. He asked if I could also confirm pickup time for Friday, because his supervisor had asked him to cover a late shift. I said I would check my calendar. I did not check. Serena also texted me. She sent the brunch clip again, with laughing emojis. She asked if Ethan had stopped sulking. I said he was being weird. Serena said men like him always got weird when they felt small. She asked if I ever wondered how it would feel to be with someone who made me feel proud in a room. I told her to stop. Then I did not block her. Later, my coworker Mira walked by my desk and asked if everything was okay at home. I asked why she would ask that. Mira said people had seen the tag from Serena's post, and it was a little intense. I said it was a family joke. Mira said it did not look like a joke from Ethan's face. I said Ethan had a serious face, and people misunderstood him. I said it with confidence. I wanted it to be true. I needed it to be true, because the other option was that I had done something cruel for fun. After work, I walked to the parking garage. My heels clicked on the concrete. My phone buzzed. I saw a message preview from Grant. He wrote that he could meet at the rooftop bar near the office. Just one drink, no pressure. He added a small line that said he liked my edge. I stared at that word, edge. It made me feel special. It also made me feel dangerous in a good way. Ethan called as I reached my car. He asked if I was leaving now. I said I was still at my desk finishing paperwork. He asked if I could read Noah a bedtime story later. I said I would try. He asked why my voice sounded like I was walking. I said I was standing by the printer. I heard myself lying and I did not stop. I told myself it was a small lie to avoid a fight. I told myself Ethan started fights too easily. I told myself he pushed me into it by always checking. I drove to the bar. It was not far, but it felt like a different world. The lights were warm, and the music was low enough to talk. Grant stood near the window like he belonged there. He asked if I had a hard day. I said yes. He asked if my husband supported me. I said my husband did not understand what I needed. Grant listened in a way that felt like respect. He did not argue. He did not ask me to be fair. He asked what I wanted next in life. I said I wanted stability and ease. He said I deserved both. He said some women carried too much because they married men who could not carry them. I could have corrected him. I could have said Ethan carried real things, like groceries and our child, like daily life. I did not. I nodded. Grant asked if my family was wealthy. I said yes. He asked if they liked Ethan. I said they did not really know him. Grant said maybe they knew enough. He said love was not a plan. He said money was a plan. He said a woman like me should not live like a woman who had to count coins. I felt a rush of relief, like someone had finally said the ugly truth I was hiding. I also felt sick, but I pushed it down. I told myself it was honest. I told myself I was allowed to want more. When I drove home, it was dark. Ethan texted a simple question asking if I was okay. I replied that work ran late. He asked if I had eaten. I said I grabbed something at the office. He said he saved dinner. I did not answer that. At home, the kitchen looked different. Not the furniture. The feeling. The counter was clear. The mail was stacked in neat piles, with sticky notes on top. One said bank. One said utilities. One said school. It looked like a small office, not a home. Ethan came in from the living room. He asked how my day went. I said it was exhausting. He asked if I wanted to talk. I said I wanted a shower. He nodded. He asked if I could sign Noah's form before bed. I said yes. Upstairs, I found Noah already asleep. Ethan told me he had asked Noah about school, and Noah said he missed when we all ate together. I said Noah was being dramatic. Ethan said Noah was 8, and he noticed more than I thought. I went back downstairs and signed the form. Ethan thanked me. His voice was calm, but it was flatter than before. He asked again where I had been. I said I was at work the whole time. He did not argue. He only looked at my face like he was putting something into a quiet box in his head. I saw his phone on the table. The screen was dark, but I noticed it was placed very straight, like he cared where it sat. Next to it was a simple notebook I had never seen before. When Ethan noticed my eyes, he slid the notebook under a magazine without a word. I told myself he was being sneaky to punish me. I told myself he was playing games now. I told myself that meant I was right to look elsewhere for comfort. Before bed, Serena sent another message. She wrote that she knew a man who would treat me like I deserved. She said she could introduce us whenever I was ready. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed that I was married and she should stop. I did not delete the message. I put my phone face down and went to the guest room door. I listened. I heard nothing. Then I heard a small click, like a drawer closing, soft and careful. I stepped away and told myself it was nothing. Still, I went to my own room feeling like the floor had shifted a little, and I did not know where the new edge was. The charity dinner came fast, like the week was sliding downhill on purpose. Serena texted me on Wednesday and said the country club still had 2 seats at our table. She said it would be good for my image. She said I should wear the red dress because it owned the room. I told her I did not care about rooms. Then I stood in front of my closet for 30 minutes anyway. Ethan asked why we had to go. I said my family expected it. He asked if it was really about charity or about showing off. I said he was being negative. He asked if he could stay home with Noah instead. I said no, because people would ask questions. He asked why that mattered. I said it mattered because people talked. That was the thing I never said out loud. I lived inside people's eyes. I acted like it was normal. I acted like Ethan was the strange one for not caring. The country club smelled like perfume and polished wood. The lights were soft and warm. The walls had framed photos of old men holding trophies. Serena met us by the entrance and hugged me tight. She told me I looked perfect. She nodded at Ethan and asked if he remembered to wear the watch I gave him. Ethan said he wore his own watch. Serena laughed like it was cute, like he was a kid. We walked into the dining room. There were round tables with white cloth and too many forks. People turned when we entered, not because we were important, but because my family was known. My father stood near the bar with donors. My mother stood near the auction items, smiling like she owned every item already. My mother kissed my cheek and asked if Ethan had good news yet. Ethan asked what she meant. My mother said she meant a better job, a bigger step, a real move forward. Ethan said he was happy where he was. My mother said happiness was cheap. I saw Ethan's shoulders tighten. I also saw him relax again, like he had practiced it. That calm made me angry. I wanted him to defend himself louder. I wanted him to fight so I could say, "See, he is the problem." Instead, he stayed quiet, and it made me feel like I was the only one exposed. At the table, Caleb sat beside Serena. He greeted Ethan like a normal person. He asked Ethan about his work. Ethan said he had a student who forgot his password 5 times in one day, and it was still his job to help. Caleb smiled a little. Serena rolled her eyes and said Ethan loved simple stories. My father sat across from Ethan. He asked Ethan if he had ever thought about real money. Ethan said he thought about real bills, and he paid them. My father chuckled and looked at me like we shared a joke. I felt a warm rush of belonging. I hated that I needed it, but I needed it. The dinner began. A man in a suit gave a speech about donations. People clapped at the right times. Servers brought plates that looked like art. Serena leaned to me and whispered that Grant Hale was here. I looked around and saw Grant near the sponsor banner, talking to 2 women. He saw me and lifted his glass slightly. It was small, but it felt like a private promise. Ethan noticed my eyes move. He asked who I was looking at. I said I was looking at the auction items. He asked if I was sure. I said yes. Later, the host asked people to share short stories for the cause. My mother stood and spoke like she was born with a microphone. She said giving was a duty. People clapped. Then Serena stood and joked about how her followers forced her to care. People laughed. When it was my turn, I stood without planning to. I told myself I was supporting the cause. That was the clean reason. The real reason was that I wanted the room. I held my glass and looked at my table first. I looked at Ethan. He looked back at me with a tired face. I started talking about partnership. I said marriage was about building. I said some people built faster than others. I said some people needed a push. I laughed lightly and said my husband was the sweetest man, but he did not exactly bring home country club money. I said it like a joke. I added that I had to keep the dream alive for both of us. The laugh came in waves. Some people laughed because others laughed. Serena laughed loudest. My father smiled like I had performed well. My mother lifted her eyebrows like I had finally understood the lesson. Ethan did not laugh. He looked down at his plate. His face did not change much, but it changed enough. It looked like something had closed behind his eyes. I sat down feeling proud and shaky at the same time. Serena squeezed my knee under the table like I had won a game. Caleb did not look at me. He stared at his water. Ethan leaned toward me and asked if I enjoyed that. I asked what he meant. He said I knew what he meant. I said it was a joke. He asked why the joke was always on him. I said he always made it easy. He asked if I would like it if he joked about my family buying my love. I told him not to start. The auction started. People waved cards. My mother bought a weekend trip without blinking. My father bought a painting he did not even like. Serena filmed small clips and whispered that she would post later. A woman at the next table leaned over and asked Ethan what he did for work. Ethan told her calmly. The woman said her nephew needed help with computers. Ethan said he could recommend someone. The woman smiled and said he seemed very kind. She then looked at me and said I was lucky. I forced a smile. I said luck had to be managed. When we finally left, the air outside felt colder. Ethan walked ahead of me toward the car. Serena followed behind and kept talking about how good the night was. She said my toast was legend. She asked if I saw the way people laughed. I said yes. In the car, Ethan asked if I planned that. I said planned what? He asked if I planned to shame him in front of strangers. I said I did not shame him. I said he shamed himself by not trying harder. Ethan asked if I even heard myself. I said he was twisting things to make me the bad guy. He went quiet again. That quiet felt heavier now. It was not sad quiet. It was measured quiet. At home, Noah was asleep on the couch with a blanket. Ruth had dropped him off earlier. She left a note that said Noah ate, brushed, and did homework. Ethan read the note and folded it carefully. He did not comment on it. He carried Noah upstairs and put him in bed without waking him. I stood in the hallway and waited for Ethan to come back and argue. He did not. He went to the kitchen, washed his hands, and wiped the counter like he was cleaning a stain no one could see. His phone was on the table. It made a soft beep. He turned it face down again. I asked what that was. He said it was nothing. I asked why he was acting strange. He asked why I was acting cruel. I told him he was being dramatic. He looked at me and said he would not talk while I was lying to myself. Then he walked past me and went into the guest room. I stood alone in the hallway, and my phone buzzed. I saw I had been tagged in a video already. It was Serena's clip of my toast. The caption said, "When you marry down, but you still shine." I stared at the screen until my eyes felt dry, and I told myself the internet did not matter. But my heart beat fast anyway, like my body knew the truth before my mind would say it. The video did not stay inside my family chat. It spread like smoke. By Friday morning, 2 co-workers had already seen it. Mira stopped by my desk and asked if I was okay. She said it gently, like she was speaking to a patient. I asked why everyone cared so much. Mira said my face looked proud, but my husband's face looked hurt. I told her people loved to misread things. I said Ethan had a dry sense of humor. Mira said the clip did not look funny. I kept smiling anyway. I told myself a strong couple could take a joke. I told myself it was better to be the loud one than the quiet one. Quiet people lost. That afternoon, I went to Noah's school pickup line. The air was cold, and the cars crawled forward in a slow, angry snake. Parents watched each other through windshields. I could feel eyes on me even when no one spoke. I checked my phone and saw Serena had posted the clip publicly. She added a caption about marrying down. People I barely knew had liked it. I wanted to blame Serena, but I also liked the attention. That was the truth I did not say out loud. Ethan pulled up behind me. He normally did pickups, but I had taken it this time because I wanted control again. He stepped out and walked toward my window. He asked if I saw the post. I said yes. He asked if I told Serena to take it down. I said it was already out there and not a big deal. He asked if I understood that public shame did not disappear. I said he was acting like I had committed a crime. He said he was acting like a father who wanted peace for his child. I told him he was trying to guilt me. He said I was trying to pretend guilt was an attack. Noah came out with his backpack bouncing. He climbed into my car and asked why Dad slept in the other room now. I said Dad needed space. Noah asked if Dad was mad at me. I told him Dad was just tired. Ethan leaned down and told Noah he loved him, and that nothing was Noah's fault. Noah nodded but did not look convinced. In the car, Noah asked why people laughed at Dad in the video. I said people laughed because it was a joke. Noah asked why Dad did not laugh. I said Dad was serious. Noah said it did not feel like a joke if only one person laughed. My hands tightened on the wheel. I told him he was too young to understand adult humor. But I understood. I just did not want to sit with it. That night, we went to a family restaurant for a big dinner. My parents had invited friends of the family. It was not a family dinner. It was a display. The restaurant had a long table in a back room. There were candles and heavy chairs and framed photos of famous people on the walls. My mother stood near the head like a queen. My father stood beside her like security. Serena was already recording small clips for her story, moving her phone like it was an extra hand. Ethan arrived with Noah, holding his hand. Ruth Brooks came too, because Ethan said Noah would feel safer with a familiar person. Ruth greeted me politely. She asked how my week was. I said busy. She asked if I was sleeping okay. I said I was fine. My mother greeted Ruth like she was being generous. She said she was glad Ruth could join our level of dining for once. Ruth's smile did not change, but her eyes did. She said she liked simple places because the food tasted honest. My father started the talk about work and money before we even ordered. He asked Ethan if he had considered private sector. Ethan said he had, but he chose stability and schedule because Noah needed him. My father said a real man provided enough so a child never worried. Ethan said a real man also showed up. I felt the room shift. A few people nodded at my father like he was teaching. A few people looked at Ethan like he was brave for answering calmly. That split scared me, so I pushed the story I wanted. I told my parents' friends that Ethan had been distant lately. I said he had been cold. I said he was punishing me for a harmless joke. I said I was doing my best, but he made the house tense. I did not say I had laughed at him. I did not say I had let the clip go public. I made it sound like Ethan was the one creating drama. Ethan asked quietly if I wanted to tell the whole story. I asked what he meant. He said the whole story included what I said and how many times I said it. I told him he was counting because he wanted to win. He said he was counting because truth mattered. Serena jumped in fast. She said Ethan was being sensitive and childish. She said a man should be able to take a joke. She said the internet loved it, so it was fine. Caleb cleared his throat and asked Serena to stop filming. Serena asked why. Caleb said children did not need to see adults perform shame. My mother snapped that Caleb was ruining the mood. My father said Ethan needed to learn his place. Ethan asked what his place was. My father said his place was to be grateful. I felt a hot satisfaction, like my family was protecting me. Then I felt a cold fear, because Ethan did not react the way I expected. He did not shout. He did not slam anything. He did not threaten. He just sat there and breathed slowly. Ruth spoke then, very calm. She said no one deserved to be mocked at a table. She said respect was not something you earn with money. My mother asked Ruth if she was lecturing them. Ruth said she was stating a basic rule. My mother turned to me and asked if I really wanted this life, the life of excuses and small checks. She said I could do better. She said I deserved better. My father said he could help fix my situation if I was ready. They were speaking about my husband like he was a broken chair. Ethan looked at Noah and asked if he wanted to go wash his hands. Noah nodded quickly. Ethan took him out of the room. Serena laughed and said Ethan was running away again. I said he always ran away when real talk started. I said it loudly enough for people to hear. Caleb looked at me like I'd slapped someone. He asked if I heard myself. I asked if he was taking Ethan's side now. Caleb said he was taking the child's side. When Ethan came back, he did not argue with Caleb or Serena. He asked Ruth if she could take Noah home with her for the night, just to keep things calm. Ruth said yes. My mother said that was dramatic. Ethan said he would rather be called dramatic than let Noah sit in a room full of adults tearing each other apart. I wanted to say Ethan was making me look bad. I wanted to say he planned this. Instead, I smiled and told everyone Ethan was always trying to play the victim. My father nodded like I was wise. The dinner ended with polite goodbyes that felt like knives. On the drive home, Ethan said nothing. I asked if he was going to talk. He said he had said enough in rooms that did not respect him. I told him he was sulking again. He said he was choosing silence because my words were not safe. At home, the house felt empty without Noah's small noises. I walked into the kitchen and saw the counter was spotless. The mail piles were still there, neat and labelled. A faint smell like toner hung in the air, like a printer had been working at night. Ethan walked past me without touching me. He went to a small cabinet near the hallway. I heard a soft click, like a lock. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing. I asked what he was organizing. He said, very calmly, that he was organizing his life. Then, from the laundry room, I heard a low hum. Not the washer. Something else. A steady chewing sound. I stood still, and I realized I did not know what Ethan kept in this house anymore. Saturday night, I went looking for a reason to feel right again. Noah was still at Ruth's house. The townhouse felt too quiet without him. The quiet made my thoughts louder. Ethan moved around like a careful person, like every step had a purpose. He did not chase me. He did not argue. He did not beg. That calm made me itch. In the morning, I asked Ethan if he planned to stay in the guest room forever. He said he planned to stay where there was peace. I said he was making peace into a weapon. He asked how peace could be a weapon. I said he used silence to punish me. He said he used silence to stop me from twisting every word. I told him I was not twisting. I told him he was. I said he always acted like a victim. He asked if I remembered what I said at the country club. I said it was a joke. He asked why my jokes always cut him. I said he made it easy. That sentence came out fast, like it had been waiting behind my teeth. Ethan blinked once, then looked away. He did not yell. He did not slam a door. He only said he would pick up Noah later and asked if I planned to come with him. I said I had plans. That was true, and it was also not true in the way truth can be broken into pieces. My plan was simple. I wanted a night where someone looked at me like I mattered. I wanted to feel like a prize, not a partner. I wanted to feel like my choices had rewards. Grant Hale texted me at noon. He wrote that he was in town for another event and asked if I wanted to stop by the rooftop bar again. He said it would be light and easy. He added that he did not judge me. I stared at that line. I told myself Ethan judged me every day. I told myself I deserved a space with no judgment. Ethan walked through the kitchen while I typed. He asked who I was talking to. I said Serena. He asked why Serena needed me so much lately. I said my sister cared about me. He asked if I thought care looked like filming my husband's shame. I said Ethan was still focused on that one moment. He asked how many one moments made a pattern. I did not answer. I grabbed my coat and said I was going out. Ethan asked what time I would be back. I said late. He asked where I was going. I said with co-workers. He asked which co-workers. I said he did not know them. He asked why I always spoke like he was stupid. I said because he acted like he was. He did not raise his voice. He only nodded once. Then he walked to the counter and opened his laptop. I saw a blank spreadsheet on the screen, rows and columns with no title. He clicked around like he was checking something, then closed it when he noticed me watching. I told myself he was tracking me. I told myself he was trying to control me. I told myself that made my life fair. I drove to the rooftop bar. The elevator ride up felt like a lift into a different version of myself. The lobby was full of people who looked polished and expensive. I adjusted my hair and told myself I belonged there more than I belonged in a kitchen with labeled piles of mail. Grant was already at a high table. He stood when he saw me. He asked how I was holding up. I said I was tired of being misunderstood. He said he could tell I carried a lot. He said some men could not handle a woman with standards. I said my husband had no ambition. Grant said ambition was a form of love. He said if Ethan loved me, he would become more. That line felt like permission. It felt like a stamp on the story I wanted to tell. We talked about my family. Grant asked what my parents did and what circles they moved in. I answered like it was normal. I enjoyed the way he listened, like every detail was important. He asked if Ethan ever tried to fit in. I said Ethan refused. I said Ethan acted like he was above it, but really he was scared. Grant said fear looked like pride when a man had little else. I laughed. It was easier than thinking. At some point, Grant touched my hand briefly when he made a point. It was not graphic. It was not a scene. It was just a small move that said, I choose you. My phone buzzed. Ethan was calling. I watched it ring. I did not pick up. Grant asked if that was him. I said yes. Grant asked if I felt trapped. I said sometimes. Grant asked if I ever wondered if you could start over without shame. I said shame was for people who failed. I told myself I was not failing. I told myself I was upgrading. I told myself Ethan had left me first by not leading. When I finally drove home, it was after midnight. The streets were quiet and wet. I opened the front door and stepped into a house that smelled clean. Too clean, like someone had scrubbed the air. Ethan was in the kitchen. He was not asleep. He was not angry. He was sitting at the table with a mug, the kind he used for tea. Another mug sat on the counter, empty, like a space left open. He asked if I had a good time. I said it was work. He asked why I smelled like a bar. I said I stopped for a quick drink with co-workers. He asked what their names were. I said he was interrogating me. He said he was asking a simple question. I raised my voice a little. I said he was acting like my father now, counting and judging. Ethan asked why I always compared him to other men when it helped me win. I said I did not compare. I said he was insecure. He asked if insecurity came from nowhere or from constant disrespect. I felt my throat tighten. I told myself he was trying to trap me into admitting guilt. I told myself admitting guilt would make me weak. So I attacked. I said maybe if he earned more, my family would respect him. I said maybe if he could provide the life I deserved, I would not need to find peace elsewhere. I did not say Grant's name. I did not say the word cheat. I said elsewhere, like it was a place you could visit by accident. Ethan stared at me for a moment that felt too long. Then he stood up and walked to the hallway cabinet. He opened it, and I saw a taxes folder on the lower shelf. Under it, a small USB was taped with a date written in black marker. Ethan took the folder and the USB and held them like they were nothing. I asked what that was. He said it was his. I asked why he needed a USB for taxes. He said he liked backups. I told him he was being paranoid. He said he was being careful. Then he looked at me with a calm face that scared me more than anger. He said he would not argue about feelings anymore. He said he would not beg. He said he would handle it properly. He placed the USB back under the folder, closed the cabinet, and I heard the soft click of a lock. I wanted to laugh and call him dramatic. I wanted to say he could not do anything. But the way he said properly made my stomach drop, like I had stepped onto ice without seeing it. He walked to the sink and rinsed his mug. Then he set his mug on one side of the counter and set the empty mug on the other side, like two borders. He did not touch me. He did not threaten me. He did not break anything. He only turned off the kitchen light and left me standing in the dark, feeling for the first time that my story might not be the only story that mattered. The next Tuesday, I went to my office like nothing had changed. I wore a clean blouse and a calm face. I told myself Ethan was only trying to scare me. I told myself he would cool down because he was not the type to do something real. I even practiced a speech in my head where I would say he was overreacting and I was the mature one. At lunch, I walked through the office tower lobby to get coffee. The lobby was bright and open. People in suits moved fast. The security desk sat near the doors. Mira from HR was near the elevators, holding her phone like she was waiting for someone. I saw Ethan before he saw me. He stood by a column, not blocking anyone, not causing a scene. He wore the same plain jacket he always wore. He looked tired, but steady. He did not look angry. That bothered me more than anger. I walked up and asked why he was there. He said he needed to handle something in a public place. I asked if he was trying to embarrass me at work. He said he was trying to keep it clean and legal. I laughed and said he loved acting like a saint. He did not answer that. A woman I did not know approached us and asked my name. She held a folder and a clipboard. I asked who she was. She said she was delivering documents and needed to confirm identity. I said she had the wrong person. She asked again, calm and firm. Mira looked at me with wide eyes. Ethan said my full name without raising his voice. He said it like it was a fact, not an insult. The woman asked if that was correct. I said yes, because people were watching, and I would not look confused. She handed me the packet. She said I had been served. My hand shook a little, and I told myself it was only paper. I told myself paper could not change reality. I opened it and saw the words that did not feel real. Divorce. Temporary orders. Effective immediately. I asked Ethan if he was serious. He said yes. I asked if this was because of a joke. He said it was because of a pattern. I said he was trying to ruin me. He said he was trying to protect Noah and protect himself. I flipped pages fast. I saw lines about joint spending and not moving money and not taking new debt. I saw a parenting schedule with pickup times and days. I saw that Noah would stay with Ethan for now and that I would have set times, written out like a shift at work. I saw a line about Ethan having use of the townhouse during the first part of the case. I looked up and asked if he had been planning this. He said he had been preparing properly. I wanted to say